Hi, welcome to Excalibur Painting. I'm Chatty again, and Marvin is basically filming. So on today's topic, what we're going to talk about is this frame right here. Yesterday we talked about it, it was all in wood. So the first step that we did was we covered up with a little bit of spackle, any wood, any part that was basically a hole to fill, be it a nail, or even part of the grain of the wood, like such stuff like this right here that we wanted to basically cover up. And then we waited for it to dry down, then we sanded down. After this, we applied our first coat of primer, and the product that we use is a product by Home Depot called Kills. It's actually a shellac base, so what it does is that it actually blocks all the areas where bleeding can occur. Bleeding meaning, so again, on this little area right here, because it's a knot, right? If you use regular primer, what ends up happening is you'll always see that bleeding right here. What happened is by using a product that is a water base but has a shellac base, which means that it actually blocks the bleeding from occurring, that actually stops that occurrence to happen. So that's why we use a shellac based, water-based shellac product to close and stop the bleeding. So that was done. Martin basically, as soon as the primer dried, he applied the first coat of paint. And then as you can see, once we apply the first coat of paint, you will see, again, a few areas that were missed. When you're trying to cover holes, one of the things that is really important is, because you cannot see it with the actual color of the wood, by putting a paint color on it, now it actually comes out even more. So before we put the second coat of paint, what we'll do is on all the little holes like here, right? What we'll do is we'll put a little bit more spackle along here, and just small little areas. And then anything else along the seams right here, anything that is exposed between the trim and the casement of the door, what we will do is we'll put a caulking. Pretty much what we'll do is we'll use a paintable caulking to be able to, once we put it, we clean it up, and then once we apply that last coat of paint, because it's a paintable caulking, we'll be able to actually blend it, and you'll never see that seam. And a really good thing to see it is in a window that we worked on right here. So on this window right here, right? This window right here, this space right here, this is the window right here, and this is the amount of caulking that was used. You can tell right now that the window is, if you look all the way up to the top, you'll see that the window does not have any more breaks. That's because we used a paintable caulking product to basically apply to cover that gap between the trim as well as the wall. Now, the windows are done. The next step is to actually do the walls. And once the walls are done, you'll never see that break. On topic of mudding, one thing I'd like to highlight, so when you're mudding, if you're using powdered mud with a mixer, one thing to keep in mind that is really important is once you mix that mud and you want to basically let it sit, one thing before you use it and you mix it again, come with me, I'm gonna show you something really interesting right here. So one thing that you'll find a lot of the times when people are basically mudding, you'll find air bubbles. And air bubbles are like this. And if you can see those, the reason there's air bubbles once they dry is because what happened is, usually what happened is, this is a trick that an old Italian fellow told me. He was a drywaller for years. He said one thing that he does, he takes his mud before, so he blends it the first time, let it sit, blends it the second time. What he does, he takes his mud and then takes the bucket, lifts it and drops it a few times. And then you don't want to mix it again, because what happens is you're creating air mixer. Just like as if you're making a meringue and you're beating the egg, so you're letting it fluff, so you're creating an air bubble. So you take that bucket before you're ready to use it, you take it, you drop it a few times, now you get rid of that air inside. Then you can actually apply it on your walls if you're doing a brand new drywall job, or you're basically adding on top. Having said that, keep you guys posted on this project, and we'll let you know how everything goes on. If you follow us on Excalibur Painting 2021, so Excalibur Painting 2021 on Facebook or Instagram, you'll see our highlights and, again, the process at which we're basically going on from this point on. Like and share if you'd like, and subscribe. Thank you so much for your time, and we'll keep you guys posted. Bye.